beautiful people. Happy Monday. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Cause fuck Christopher bitch Columbus. Columbitch. Anyway, disregard my face. I felt like not doing lashes today and I actually slept in my makeup, so yeah. If that tells you how I'm doing mentally, I don't know what else will. I'm just kidding. I sleep in my makeup all the time. Hello, Shuka Kaito. I hope you're doing well today. How's your day going? I always feel naked when I don't put on lashes because I feel like lashes help open my eyes up a bit, and without them I feel very naked. Dude, crunchy grapes are the best. I don't know about you, but like I always eat like the firmest grapes first. I just like the texture of them. I don't like the soft ones. But eventually when I eat all the firm grapes, I have no other firm grapes to find, so then I start eating like more of the squishy ones the closer I get to the end, if that makes sense. Because I can't tell that they're squishy because there's no firm grapes to compare them to, so eventually I end up eating the softer ones. But yeah, soft ones, God no. Oh, thank you, Sugar Kaido. I actually like I like my eyes, but growing up it was a real big insecurity of mine because I didn't know that I was Hawaiian Chinese growing up. I thought I was just white, but my eyes were like the other white girls, so I got very like insecure, and then I realized that I have like Asian in my blood, and that's where like the almond shape comes from because my grandma Lee has like the same shaped eyes. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. Like, I feel a little bit better about that. But because it was so different, not so different, but like different than the other girls that I was seeing around me that were considered white, it was really confusing to me. Because I considered myself a white girl because I didn't know. I didn't know any better. Fancy running into you here, Wesley. How's your day going? Is the music too loud? Can you guys let me know? I guess I could find out on my stream just by opening it up. I was about to be like, who the hell is Sierra Thompson? And I was like, wait, hold the fuck up. That's Sierra. Hi, Sierra! I love you, and I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I can't wait till we hang out again. Let me know if the music is too loud. So I decided that with these like little podcasts that I do, since I do them like every other day, I think I'll be like typing them up, because I feel like some of this shit might be good reading material. This music is killing me. It's distracting me. Oh, hell yeah. Living the dream. Living like Larry. I wish I could say the same, but hey, today's not too bad. So I wanted to get back into my topics for podcasts that I like to talk about. So today I decided we're going to talk about survival mode. And it's weird, looking this up is really hard to find stuff on it because I'm not talking about like surviving in the fucking wilderness. Like, this has nothing to do with like gutting an animal and sleeping inside of it. But that's really all I could find was like wilderness survival stuff. But obviously I talk about a lot of trauma work and stuff. And survival mode happens when you have to adapt to a situation for long periods of time, I guess I would say. I know. Well, he could be living. Maybe he's living my dream. Maybe Wesley is living my dream. I don't know. I don't know what Wesley's life is like. Uh, yeah, fight or flight mode is pretty similar. I would say maybe similar, but not the same. Survival mode. What I think survival mode and getting out of it is like, for instance, when you go through something traumatic over and over, you learn to build these walls that protect you. And when you're away from that traumatic situation, those are no longer beneficial walls or boundaries to the outside world, but they are to you because you had this traumatic experience. And learning to understand that you're safe now, and you can let those walls down, that not every situation is going to be like that, is getting out of survival mode. Survival mode is applying that situation to pretty much everything to protect yourself, which is warranted and granted, especially with a lot of shit that people go through. What is your average day like, Wesley? I want to know. I want to know what everyone's average day is like. Like, I like to imagine Sierra has been playing The Sims a lot. Like, she's been obsessed with it, so she got me into The Sims a lot. I'm not into it as much as she is. She's like pro status at it. But I like to imagine everyone's life like a little sim now. So like everyone that passes by, I'm like, I wonder. And I've always done this, but I've always wondered like what people's lives are like when they go home. It's like a little sim game. I feel that, Sia. Yeah, and uh, yeah, financial and emotional survival mode is something I think a lot of people in our age range are in, and it's just a norm, and it's something that I think leads to depression and leads to anxiety and like an unhappy way of living. Yeah, I'm just now getting into it. I'm trying to get into the third one. I'm playing the third one, and Sierra has the fourth she's been like talking about and that she plays, and so I'm waiting because on the 18th of October, Sims 4 is released free or something for PC. I think it's going to be on Steam. You know what's crazy is like months ago I couldn't even light a lighter because the little safety thing, because my joints were so bad. Now I'm fucking strong hands. Anyway, it's all that arthritis medicine. But yeah, like Sierra said, like there's different types of. Can I help you? There's a dog here. You wouldn't know because the dog camera isn't up, but Beef is right here. His face looks so much better, by the way. He was breaking out, and then I gave him probiotics and some yogurt yesterday. Believe it or not, yogurt is so damn good for you. Like if you eat plain whole yogurt, like if you have any bowel issues, if you have like diarrhea, if you have constipation, if you just like your stomach hurts all the time, yogurt is like the greatest thing for you. And the dogs love it, and it just helps your body so much. Here's his paw if you can see. Anyway, his face, he hasn't been itching. It's a little bit bloody because he's been itching, but the scabs are like completely gone. Like it's almost like he healed in like 2 days. It's really weird. But I think he's itching because he's healing, but it's not as bad as it was. Like he woke up with like, it was just bad. Okay, trust me when I say it's good. Oh no, Shiga Kaito! I know, I was stoked when her and I were just talking about it, and then like that night or like the next day, it popped up on my feed that it was gonna be free, and I was like, oh shit. Cause she comes over, like, I'll have her describe it one day when she's on the podcast again, but the way she describes her Sims, if you walked in the middle of our conversations, you would think she's talking about like some fucked up neighbor of hers or something, like some real life story. Like she's like into it, so like it creates like this whole story. So I'm like sitting there listening to like all these lives that she's created, and I was like, holy shit, this sounds so fun. Because I personally didn't know that Sims was like that in depth. I thought it was just like, I didn't really know. I kept trying to play it, but I didn't know you could do all these things that she was talking about, and it's fucking amazing. I would say. I didn't know, like, I do, like, right now, I do like learning about all the different things, like, where, like, when I was building my character, I like the, how you build them and stuff like that. Like, I've never seen a game that in depth, so it's, like, a very different style of game, so I'm still learning it. Oh, hold on. Is it programming large? Hold on. Oh, that sounds fancy as fuck, Wesley. That's cool though. That sounds futuristic. Excuse me, beef. Ugh! I tried kombucha once and I wanted to vomit. I was trying to have a nice, delightful breakfast, and I saw kombucha, and all the white girls on fucking TikTok made it seem like it was delicious. And I tried that shit. It was like pomegranate something. It sounded delicious. I tried it, and immediately I just wanted to shit my pants and cry. Because it was the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth, willingly. I know. I'm excited because now I can show you what I have set up, and you can like show me little things when you come over. But I don't have the fourth one yet. I don't think it's much different, but I don't know. But dude, kombucha is brutal. I'd rather just drink straight up apple cider vinegar, which is what I do instead, which also is very good for you, by the way. So is kombucha. The apple cider vinegar with the mother on the bottom, it looks like filmy stuff on the bottom, is the best for you. It's like a natural antibiotic, antibacterial, whatever. Anytime I drink it, I notice my joint flaring, like the swelling, go down significantly. But anyway, it tastes like butthole. Don't expect it to taste amazing. But survival mode, I think, I wonder honestly if everyone has it or if everyone's gone through it. I don't know, because to me, I've just had a very traumatic life, and it's like almost normal for me. And literally, the pregnancy and then now, it's like completely put, like, taken off the glasses for me and shown me like what is survival for me and what isn't anymore. And because I'm going back to these old habits or old things, because I'm like looking to go back to what I was before my pregnancy. And some of them I'm realizing how not right they feel, and I'm realizing it's because it's a survival thing that I was doing. And like it's really hard to describe, but now it feels like I think like being anxious was almost like comforting to me. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Because you're like, who the fuck wants to be anxious? Because I don't want to be anxious. I fucking hate it. It makes me cry like 90% of the time. So I hate it. But I'm sitting there and I'm like overthinking everything, right? And I send myself into this crying ball of hysterics multiple times a day. And granted, that is hormonal because like hormones are balancing themselves out after the pregnancy and shit. So I just kind of ride that wave. But at the same time, I've noticed that it's not that I want to feel anxious, but it's kind of like when you're in a maze, right? And you get lost. So you kind of go, what is this? Oh! Thank you, Sugar Kaito, for being so kind to Sierra. No, Sierra, it does taste like juice. It does. It tastes like juice from Satan himself. it's, it's like literally these white girls literally make it look like that. The ones that I don't know what her name is, but it's some girl that I'm picturing in my head that she's like an influencer. She's like big. She made like the cowboy caviar or whatever. She's like a big influencer on TikTok. She's some white girl who shops at Trader Joe's. I'm very influenced by her because she looks so calm. She looks like the kind of home you walk in and it's just very peaceful. It smells maybe just very normal in there. Why does smell matter? Because I imagine when you walk into here, Sierra, what does it smell like when you walk in here? I want to know. Please don't say farts. I hope. I'd like to imagine it smells good with a mix of weed. If it smelled like dogs, I wouldn't be disappointed. It makes sense, but it just would tell me that I would need to mop 2 times a week instead of once. But I imagine this lady's house, when you walk in, it just smells like maybe like a mix of like fresh paint and like new house smell still, you know? And she wears oatmeal colored clothes and she's very calm when she talks. I don't fucking know her name. But she drinks kombucha like juice. And she has no problem with it. That is literally why I opened it and thought it was juice. And it is. It's juice. Juice from fucking Satan. It's disgusting. I know yesterday I did. Actually, I think I gave them peanut butter yesterday and they were all having the shits. There was like 3 accidents in the living room, which is never like that rarely happens. Like it's only if their stomach is upset. So I think the peanut butter I got had like some fake sugar that probably fucked with their system. So now I feel bad. Aw, that's so nice, Sierra. You're so amazing. Juice from Satan's asshole. I didn't know that there were juicy assholes, but I believe it. Now that you say that, because I think I don't want to think too hard into this. Never mind. Anyway, because I will gross myself out. I imagine the butthole like a vagina where it's self lubricating. That's kind of disgusting. Yes. I don't want to dive into that until we are on a podcast together sharing our life stories, because that is like a detrimental moment in my life of sealing our friendship. Actually, there were several of those moments with you, Sierra. Yeah, I would say there's at least like 3. And they're not like the moments where it's like, oh yeah, she saved my life. There was a moving train and she pushed me out of the way. It wasn't shit like that, but like when you sat down and showed me the picture when like I very first got there, that's like one of those moments. Just like sealed in my mind, like that was just meant to happen that way. Ugh. Honestly, I don't trust you, Wesley. I don't trust you. I'm just gonna assume the brand doesn't matter and they all taste like booty butthole. Big booty bazoodle boodle buttholes. Whatever. Anyway, I I do too. I would love if we had like a camera, because I wish people could see the shit we talk about and stuff, because I have fun. Like when we hang out, I have fun with her because we just talk like about the most random shit and laugh about the most random shit. Hell yeah, brother. But yeah, so survival mode, like I was saying with anxiety, like it sounds crazy because people will say, like, at least when I've heard it, people have told me that like you'll go back to what's comfortable even if it's not good for you, and I was like, why would you do that? Like, you if you know it's not good for you. But sometimes you don't even know like it's not good for you, because you're going, what, at least how it works in my mind, like I said, a maze, and you get lost and you trace back your steps, you go back to square one, and that's because it's comfortable, it's on a path that you know, and you know how to get back to that. And I don't think it's willingly choosing because it feels good, but it's because what you know, and that's detrimental to surviving, like just in general, like making it out of this world alive, which no one does. But like at least being somewhat in the position of comfort that you're in right now without risking losing anything. And I think survival mode can be good sometimes because it can protect you, of course, just for anything. Like if you're so used to, like, for emotional like survival mode, like I was so used to being poor growing up, so I had this mindset that I couldn't get a certain amount of money. And sometimes I fall into that mindset because it's difficult to get money, but it's just redirection. But it feels more comfortable. Like, for instance, I think to myself, I have to work hard for my money. And then I get into this mode where I start panicking because I step away from work and start trying to manifest it energetically. But I start panicking because I'm not used to doing that. I'm used to working my ass off. I'm used to working like 80 hours a week to make money, and then comes a big paycheck every 2 weeks. That's what I'm used to. And I fall back into that survival mode. And that is survival mode because that's what I turn to when I can't survive is corporate work. Like when I work for myself, I'm happy and thriving and stuff like that. But when I have to survive, that's what I turn to. And then I get stuck in that mindset that I'm worth this, and I can't be worth much more money than that amount that they're giving me. And it puts me back into this mindset. And I will do that now with OnlyFans even. Like I will sit there and think, oh, I need to bust out a set every day. And then that's going to get me money because I'm so telling myself, like, you have to work, 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 work. Hello, Scooter. I hope your day is going well. That I have to work in order to make money, when that's really, some people who don't believe in spirituality and stuff will argue different, but you can manifest money without having to work, so to speak. You'll have to put in work and effort, but you won't have to do the typical 9 to 5 work job stuff. But when you're in that position, it's like, it feels like standing on a bridge that sways a lot. Like it feels unstable. You're stable, but it just feels unstable because you're up in the air and it's swaying. Like, but you're on a bridge. It's like, it's chill, dude. You know. But it's easy to fall back into that survival mode because it's dependable and it's comfortable. It's easy to go back to corporate because I know I'm gonna get a check every 2 weeks. But when you stand there and say, okay, I gotta trust in myself to make the money, and I gotta trust that the universe will bring me what I believe I deserve, and you have to actually believe it. You can't be like, yeah, I think I deserve it. Like you have to be like, no, I fucking deserve it, and it's gonna happen. So I just gotta wait here for it. It's kind of just like waiting for a train or waiting for an Amazon delivery. Like I'm just waiting for it to arrive because I know I deserve it, kind of thing. But you gotta believe it, and you gotta like follow the steps that. It sounds crazy, but you can say it in any way. Like people will say like God showed them the way, and it's just the universe will put little synchronicities in your life that if you're paying attention and you're surrendering to the universe and all that stuff, you will notice these synchronicities. And a lot of people will excuse them, and you could literally excuse them yourself. For instance, like I remember one day, like there's just an energy shift and you can feel it. It's like some days you wake up different, some days you wake up feeling like uppity and stuff. To me, I pay very close attention to how I feel when I wake up, because usually I can tell even the moon phase by how I'm feeling when I wake up. I'm like, today feels a little off, yesterday felt a little off, I wonder what's going on, blah blah blah, kind of thing. And if I look it up, it's usually like full moon or some shit like that, some retrograde or something. But if you pay attention to these little things that happen, like for me, the energies had shifted, I could tell, and then all of a sudden, like I just had these huge epiphanies. And then I woke up and there was like a black and white feather just directly, perfectly in the middle of my um, mat on my front porch, and I was like, that's weird. Like I never get feathers in my yard, like never. There's not birds around here that hang around. There's a few pigeons, but they barely ever come over in the parking lot, so you don't really see feathers around here. It's not that kind of thing. So when I saw a feather, it was very out of place for me. Like that's not a norm. But when you see a black and white feather in the spiritual witchcraft kind of realm, we believe that's a sign of like change is coming and like something like that. Okay, like good change. And yeah, exactly. Like you can bring in money, and you'll always have to work for money in my mind, but it's not the kind of work that people view nowadays. Like it's not a 9 to 5 blah blah kind of thing. Like it's hard to describe without being too hippy dippy, but it's all about energy, the vibe. But it's all about energy, and I think money is just energy. And once you start looking at it as just like a flowing thing, then you can look at it as like, okay, I can attract, but what is going to attract it? Like, okay, yes, you yourself could be so magnificent that you just attract it, but you gotta put yourself in the mindset and everything like that, and that also takes a lot of work actually telling yourself that you're worthy of something that you have grown up and led to believe that you're not worthy of. Like, I grew up the longest time thinking, like, well, I always actually thought I was going to be wealthy because of the restaurant, but, and maybe, like, personally, I don't think I'm doing too great. I'd like to be doing better in life, but maybe to other people, I'm doing decent. So maybe, like, I'm beating myself up, but I wanted to be a little wealthier at this point in life. I think anybody could say that, but I'm not doing too bad. But I think if I grew up thinking I was only going to make money if I worked 9 to 5 and did it this way, then I think I would be making less money than I am right now. And, well, I'm not making any right now, but, like, when I was doing OnlyFans and working for myself and everything, because I was making the most money I'd ever made. And here's the thing, when I was doing my OnlyFans, there was 2 periods that I remember. The first year, I worked my ass off. I was doing set after set after set after set, and I was barely getting like 30 subscribers, right? That was like my norm, and I was struggling for people to like come on board, but I knew it wasn't because I was ugly or like I wasn't offering, like, I just thought I wasn't marketing it right? Took a shit ton of acid, had some major epiphanies, and realized that it's like the corporate world. No matter how hard you work, you still get paid the same. So I gotta start manipulating the system, in a sense, to work for me. So that's where I had to look at it as like, I'm not marketing correctly and I'm not doing certain things correctly. And and I learned that there was a lot of things that I did that turned off my audience. And so the next year that I did it, after taking all that acid, the next year, I did like 1 set a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. And still to this day, like, I haven't worked for 6 months, and I've had literally 50 subscribers on my thing, and I haven't posted any content. I've had them on there for like ever. They're just like loyal subscribers, and I don't have to work at all to get that right now. First off, I have so much content on my page that, like, you know, like, it kind of balances itself out. But at the same time, like, I was busting my ass the year before because I thought I was so ingrained in that survival mode that I thought I had to do that to make money. But it doesn't matter how many sets and stuff I busted out. No pun intended. But, ew, disgusting. I'm sorry. But it didn't matter how many sets I turned out. I still was not bringing people on board because I could post as many sets as I wanted inside of OnlyFans, but nobody's gonna see them except for the people inside. So I literally had to reapproach it differently, and that's kind of, side note, why I'm like on the fence about doing OnlyFans again, because this will be approaching my 3rd year, and yeah, it's fucking gross. But oh wow, okay, that lingers for a while. But I'm thinking this is gonna be like the year where I get the OnlyFans life that I want, if that makes sense, where I'm making a shit ton, because I stayed in about the 3% range last year, and I was making at least 5 to 6 grand a month easily, and that wasn't just through OnlyFans. That was through like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but I was making a good amount. So, and I literally learned by shifting my energy, and that's just my mindset, okay? Because it's so easy to think like, if I work X amount of hours, then I get this paycheck, comfortable, set, and easy. But when you tell yourself, I deserve more money than this because I deserve to be comfortable and I deserve to be living a life that I want. Like, I personally want a life where I can just treat my friends to whatever, I can treat myself to whatever. I'm not a very, like, let's go buy Lamborghinis today. Like, that's not my style of treating, you know? I like food, I like experiences, I like helping people. So, like, when I treat myself, it's like doing things I like to do, and making food for homeless people is something that I like to do. And although I haven't done it in like a year, but I've been wanting to with the burritos. Costs a lot of money. Because this is just like a side note, when I was driving down the street, I was like shocked by, I don't know what's happening, but either they're migrating over more this way, or there's just more homeless people, but it scares me because, like, the economy, you know, like, that literally could be me. Like, I'm probably closer to that than I am being a billionaire, let's be honest. So, but yeah, treat yourself. You should listen to. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Is it a song, Sierra? Because I think I seen it on TikTok. But yeah, I was driving down just one street and I was like, oh, I've been wanting to make burritos, but I don't think 100 burritos is even going to put a dent. Like, I will walk like maybe 10 feet and I think I could pass out 100 burritos. Like, it's going to go by in like a second. So I'm like, I think I have to make like 500 to even serve one street. That's how bad it is. But I just like to take care of people, but I've learned that I have to take care of myself to take care of people, right? When you're a giver, you go through this process of learning that, like, you can't pour from an empty cup, but we don't know what it means until we find out that we're going through these cycles of exhaustion, and we're like, why the fuck are we exhausted? And we realize it's because we're giving as like a coping mechanism, and usually. And for me, I think it can be used as a coping mechanism, but I think it can be healthy to be a giver. I think there needs to be givers in this world. Maybe that's just like the trauma of me still talking. I don't fucking know, but I do believe like those people who come out of the blue and just randomly help you, right? Those are the type of people that are needed because like those are the people that give people who are on their last foot hope, you know? And it's just because naturally they are givers, and without that I don't think it would like make the world go, you know? Constant like cycle. And I do think it can be used for not bad, but like used against you. Like you can end up sabotaging yourself because of it. You end up giving too much to people and it wears you out, and then you end up either being resentful or getting taken advantage of, or both. And it's just like not a good cycle for people. And so, okay, yeah, I've heard of that. I think I've sort of heard of it like on 2 TikToks maybe, but I think I know what you're talking about because they were talking about how it's a manifestation song. Exactly, Shuka Kaito. I think the same thing. I try to keep that good energy going. Sometimes it's difficult, as we all know. But, yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying with that, but I like to, oh yeah, with OnlyFans. I'd like to think that because I really do like doing OnlyFans, but I need to approach it differently, and I complain about the fact that people only sexualize me on there, but that's kind of my fault, and this is one of those survival mode things, okay? So I was thinking, okay, so my OnlyFans is whatever I make it. Nobody's forcing me to show my butthole. I did that to myself. So, that being said, that came from like a self-worth aspect. But that doesn't mean because I show my butthole I have no self-worth, right? I just think people only value me when I become sexual. So I think other people's idea of me is just sexual related. So that's when I say my worth to them is that. But I can also show them parts of me that I find more worthy because I don't do that. Like on my OnlyFans, I could go live and I could just approach it a whole lot differently. I could show my personality on there more, which is what I plan on doing. But instead I fell back to the sexual part of it because it's easier and comfortable, but then I'm left wondering like why am I not making what I want to make? But it's because I'm not authentically being myself. I'm just showing up as this sexual facade that these people seem to like. And if I showed up as myself, if I believe that I'm likable, which I like to think I am, if I show up as myself, then it's gonna just like, I'm happy. I'm creating out of happiness. I'm creating out of authenticity. And that's gonna bring in more authentic people to me who want to see me and whatever, you know? And sometimes like I get discouraged because like I like to have more of a personality rather than focusing on being sexy or something. So to me, I think like my personality comes off a bit dry when I do TikToks and stuff because I don't know how to, like literally it's a thing that have been like sitting here trying to figure out. I don't know how to unblur the lines of being this sexy facade that I've had to create for myself for the last couple years for OnlyFans versus being myself. So, and it's like easy for me on Twitch because I can just talk and be myself. Like, I don't know why that's so easy for me on Twitch. And like, but would I ever show up on OnlyFans like this, or would I ever show up on TikTok like this? No, I would want to put on like fake eyelashes. I'd want to like put on a different shirt, like, stuff like that. So, and even small things like that, like I don't believe are showing up truly authentic. Granted, like not everybody wants to fucking just wake up and like show up like how they woke up, but I don't show like real sides of me on TikTok and stuff because I'm afraid of judgment and stuff like that. Whereas if I fully believed in myself like I do on Twitch, it wouldn't be an issue. And that's one of those survival things because for a while, like OnlyFans, that was something I had to use to survive. And that was a situation in my life where I know, Sugar Kaito. That's weirdly, that's so cool that you noticed that because, like, I actually appreciate that because, like I had been debating on posting that because I was like, ugh, like I feel gross. Like I'm in a diaper. Like this is humiliating and embarrassing. Like I'm bleeding like crazy out of my vagina. I feel disgusting. And I was like, whatever. Like I guess like it's a raw moment. Like whatever. And yeah, like I feel like that's the way I should be presenting myself. Not in a diaper all the time. That's fucking weird. But like not hiding those real human experiences because it doesn't look good. And I never think that I try to hide them, but I don't show them as much as I show like the achievements in my life, but because I don't like to constantly be the person to talk about like, oh, I'm battling this, I'm battling that, because I do think a lot of my battles stem from me putting myself into situations because I'm trying to cope with something. That's what I think. Yeah, no one's forcing me to butt chug anything. That's why I'm willingly doing it. Exactly, Shuka Kaito. So I think, mark my worms, okay? So when we're talking about financial survival mode, this is what I think is is gonna happen. I've been heavily debating on doing OnlyFans again, and I think I'm going to, but I'm gonna. Shuka Kaito knows because I've talked to her a bit about it, but I think I'm gonna just reroute. And I mean, I've talked about it on here, I think, several times. Just reroute the way I'm doing things. And we'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm a very intuitive person, so I'm just trying to listen to my gut feeling. But I also wanted to open up different other avenues of things, like what Wesley mentioned, like the recipes and stuff, and I could show those cooking them on my Twitch and stuff. So it's like when they kind of like help each other build, kind of, if that makes sense. So that's where it's like I'm having the money work for me instead of me work for my money. So for like the longest time, I've always wanted to just like have a job where I could wake up and like just check how the profits are, and that's it. And that's kind of what I manifested with OnlyFans, but it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be, okay, right? But the second year, I started to realize that's because of how I'm approaching it, and it all starts in here. Like, I know it sounds so hippy dippy, and I try to, when I talk about the spiritual shit, I try to put it on a level where everybody can understand it, because I know when I heard it, when I first started into the spiritual shit, I was like, what the fuck are these people on? Like, this is so weird. And not all of it did I think that, but some of it I did. And that's because I had this idea that this couldn't happen for me, because why would it? But now I have this mindset of like, no, it's going to happen for me because I deserve it. Like, why else wouldn't it? Sierra and I actually talk about it a lot. Like, she says a lot, she doesn't think she's meant to be, I don't know, broke or poor or whatever. Like, she's meant to be rich in her life, I think is what she says. And every time she says that, I was like, no, that is exactly right, because I think the same exact fucking thing. Like, I think I've seen the far worse of it, like the very opposite of it, so I think I'm now ready to see the other end of it. And I love when she says that, because it reminds me of like, yes, we deserve like this wealth that is very much obtainable. You just got to fix your mindset. And especially with today's technology and how everything can be made done online, and you can make money online and very easily and stuff like that. And even without the technology, like, manifestation is still real, but I think the technology side of it makes it a lot easier if you can take advantage of it. But I absolutely think like I too believe that I'm not meant for a lifestyle where I have to check my bank account when I buy something. You know what I mean? and I can afford the things that I want, and I can afford taking care of the people that I care about, and more. It's okay. I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakthrough, and I always feel like my success is like my friend's success, and that's why I really want like having like small circles, because I can't imagine. I don't know. I guess I could have a lot of friends. I always have like a lot of friends, but close friends, I just like having a few close friends. So it just, I don't know. It's easier that way. But I imagine taking care of my friends, my family, and then them because they're taken care of, they get to take care of their friends and their family. And then it creates like this cycle, you know what I mean? So I would love to be like the starter of some cycle like that, and that's like my life goal, as well as with like just random people on the streets. I would love to be the female version of Mr. Beast. Now, I don't know fully who he is. I think he's just a streamer. I don't know if he plays video games or not. But I know he has a lot of money and gives it away to people. And trust me when I say this, like, I feel like I know the exact people who deserve this kind of money, which is people here and stuff. Thank you, Shuka Kaito. You too, dude. Like, literally, like, I feel like I'm on the verge of this breakthrough of being comfortable. Last year, I was the most comfortable, minus the eviction thing that happened earlier this year. The pregnancy with the adoption helped me with every bills and everything. So that helped create this form of comfortability and stability for me. And it's helping me be able to focus on, okay, I don't have to focus on surviving right now. I can focus on building, and that's why I'm so adamant about working, even though my bills are paid. I'm so adamant about working so that I can get myself out of this hole. I can buy a new car. I can finally rent a house that's like $200 more, but I need to be able to, like, when I move stuff, I'm going to definitely have to hire movers for sure. Like, I have a few friends that would help, but A, do I want them to? No. Like, Sierra, she used to move stuff for a company or whatever. So I guarantee you she can fucking move my shit if I asked her to. But I would love to be able to say that I paid for movers, because I feel like that's peak adult. And plus they pack my shit. I don't want to pack my stuff. I have a lot of stuff. But I want to be able to get movers to move my stuff, which I don't think movers are that much because I wouldn't be moving that far away. But yeah, and I would like to be able to afford a car that's not a piece of junk, and then move into a cute little house that's like $2,000 a month, and then I can pay that without having to worry about, oh my god, it's $2,000 a month, that's a lot. Like, I don't want to have that mindset anymore. I want to think $2,000 a month, oh, that's not bad at all. Maybe I should start saying that to myself. But I've gotten out of this mode, this financial survival mode, and only thanks to Kai and like the adoption and pregnancy and stuff, that's literally the only reason I got out of it. Because once I found out I was pregnant with Kai, I just started turning inward, obsessively. Like, I didn't want anyone who was not good for me around me, because I had something inside me to protect. And I'm one of those people who I will literally die for anyone, because I don't care about myself. But I care about you and you. Like, I don't know why I should work on that though. But the fact that there's like a little tiny human inside of me, I was like, okay, now I gotta focus on giving to myself, because the only way that he's gonna be healthy is if I'm happy and giving to myself. And it put me doing that for like 4 months. I had to do that because that's how long I was pregnant with him, knowingly. And that's when I started like treating myself. And it's weird because things absolutely shifted. Like, that's when Sierra and I started hanging out more, so I grew really close with Sierra and grew really close with Shuka Kaito, and just energetically things have felt better. And then came like my joint health. I've like tried to manifest that for so long, and finally it's like the best it's ever been. And that's literally my favorite thing, because I can't do any business idea if my joints aren't healthy. I'm sure if I told myself you can do it even though your joints aren't healthy, I'd do it. But I'm so tired. Like, I've had this arthritis since I was 6. I am literally physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted. You know when like you fight with someone and you get like really exhausted on the inside? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, man, this is just like like, that's what my life felt like, just existing, because I can't imagine a life existing without pain. So I just really wanted to focus on that first because I wanted it impacted my mental health. Like I am so much more crabby to the dogs and like so quick with them and short with them because I'm in pain. And then when I'm not in pain, like my mood is completely different and I don't like that I don't like beat the shit out of them or anything, but I yell at them a lot more and I'm very irritable and I'm just in nonstop pain so I can't play with them and like I just feel really like a crappy dog owner when I have flare-ups. And then when I'm healthy and happy, I feel great because I can play with Beef. I can walk around and like talk to them while walking around and like okay, so if I walk from my bedroom to the door, usually it would hurt really bad. And when things hurt, I tend to like hold my breath. I don't know why. And it's like I have to focus on walking really like really focused. So when the dogs are around me, it throws off my focus because they're bumping into me, they're jumping on me, and when I'm healthy, that's fine. Like I don't mind that. I think it's adorable. But when I'm not healthy, I don't like that. And it frustrates me because it makes it harder for me to walk and all this stuff. So it's like a downward spiral. I get like really crabby and like I kind of yell at them a lot more. I yell at them a lot more when like if they jump on me, I'll be like, "No, don't do that." But then when I'm not hurting, I don't even care if they jump on me. So, and then I feel bad because they probably don't understand because I'm so in the middle. They don't know. But, and I try to tell them, like, as weird as it is, I talk to my dogs, but I try to tell them, like, today's a bad day for me joint wise. Just be easy with mom. Like, but I just had to learn one way or another, I feel like, to treat myself. And from someone who's been through, and I plan on finally, I keep talking about this, but I finally plan on sharing my life story. So we'll know more about this later. Some people who've watched my YouTube story, like, you know already, but I think we're lagging a bit. Shit. I'm sorry. Um, but just with what I've been through, Hello, Chad. How are you doing today? Just with what I've been through, I have a lot of survival mode about me. And I used to think, because I've been in abusive situations, and I've been in these situations where I had to be the adult. I had to be the one to think. I had to be, like, one time I walked in on my dad drunk, trying to yeet himself off this planet, pretty much. I walked in on him holding a knife to his throat, and there was my stepmom and my brother in the room, and they weren't doing anything. They were standing in the corner just crying. And I walk in, and I think like the normal response would be to freak out, but because I had been put in these modes before of being this savior person, because I was the only literal sane one in my family, it put me in survival mode. So like because of that situation and many like it, I like after I saw that, I immediately ran out and just went and got a neighbor to get help and call the cops. Like, okay, thank you, Shuka. Thank you for letting me know. But so that threw me into survival mode with a lot of other things. And growing up, I always thought it was a great trait of mine. I was like, wow, I am really great at responding to emergency situations. I figured out in high school and middle school that like whenever something happened like that, like if someone got hurt or if someone needed help or something, I was so good at immediately being there. I was so good at it. And I prided myself on that. And that was like a survival thing I had learned because I had to be the one my family relied on. Like my dad struggled with alcohol. I literally was driving the car at like 7 years old down the street for him. And he was borrowing money from me for gas and for alcohol at 7 because I was making money at 7 through my artwork. Granted, I think kids should be selling I think kids not selling, but like I think if a kid wanted to sell lemonade, like that's totally fine. Like that's not through survival, but I had to sell things out of survival because there were points in my life where we were poor and I didn't like being poor. And I always imagined a life where I wouldn't have to be poor. And so I learned, like with these traits that I had grown up with, now as an adult, that these are not that great. I used to literally imagine, like when I was younger, this is probably fucked up, but I used to imagine, right, that, not imagine, but like I would purposely sit in the front row of the school bus in case the bus driver were to faint, and then I would be there to help them. And I don't know what 7, 8, 9, 10 year old thinks like that. And I blame that purely on the fact that I had to be the one to help my family out when anything went awry. Like when anything went wrong, like my dad got in a car accident and I was the one having to cook and having to take care of my dad after the car accident. And my brother got in the car accident too. So it was me, my dad, and my brother living together, so I had to take care of them. So as you can imagine, like survival mode came in many forms for me. And hold on, I gotta turn. This music is distracting me. And survival mode comes from like it can come from situations that aren't severe. I just want to put that out there. It can come from just living a specific way. Like for instance, people financial survival mode. People think I have to work 9 to 5 to make a paycheck and I have to be promoted and go through this way of systematic living that the government has built in order to receive a paycheck. And once you break out of that mindset, then you won't struggle with making money. And I only know that because I don't think I ever fell into that. Because when I was younger, since I was in that survival mode, I had been making money since I was like 6. And by the time I turned 16, I was so fucking ready for a job. I was like, sign me the fuck up for the army, bro. No. What? I mean, I was in ROTC. I was prepared. But, oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And, like, that's also another thing. Like, when I was young, I prided myself on people being like, wow, you're so adult-like. And, like, that was such a compliment to me. And, unfortunately, I think I don't know. For some reason, I believe that a part of that, when people say that, is what leads people, kids, to confuse sexual abuse. Because we believe we're so mature, we believe we're so this, and it's not like you get confused because it doesn't seem like you're a kid anymore, if that makes sense. And like, I can't say that it is the way for me with my sexual abuse story, but I can imagine like how Hollywood does it. Like these girls are told, "Oh, you're so mature for your age. You're so grown and stuff like that," and that allows the girls to feel safe in parties that they really have no business being at because it's just full of grown, creepy men. And then it confuses their mind being so young and naive that, oh, okay, so this is what grown people do, right? So I feel like saying that to kids is kind of detrimental, although it can be meant in very well intended meanings, you know. But I think sometimes when you say that, it puts situations like that in a like weird aspect. I don't fucking know, but I know at 16 I didn't know shit either, and I'd like to believe, and I keep trying to tell myself to be humble. Like I tell myself all the time, like you don't know shit. Like I know some stuff, but compared to what there is to know, I don't know shit. But and I know that, so that's fine. But that it makes it exciting for me because that means there's like a never-ending amount of knowledge out there, you know? Oh, absolutely, Suka Kaito. I so much appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that because that's shitty. But that's literally what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like personally, like, I never had that mindset growing up, but I was told that I was mature for my age, and I did get sexually abused by several family members. So, but did I think it was because I was so mature? No. I think it was because of the people, obviously, but I don't know if that's what was going through my head and maybe subconsciously that's what was going on. I don't know, really, I don't. But I know for Hollywood aspect, that's how it is, and I can see that translating very well into very normal. I don't want to say normal, but it is normal. Like it's so normalized to like I feel like every adult has a sexual abuse story from their family members or friends of the family or something like that. And it's not normal, but it's almost normal, which is crazy. Yeah, and now like, or for me at least, growing up in a mature state of mind, I feel exhausted just trying to, like, I don't know, live at this point. Like, not in a suicidal way, but in a sense of where, like, I'm breaking out of this survival mode slowly because I'm so tired, because I don't have the energy and the strength to be so uptight. And I noticed the other day when it comes to like emotional and psychological survival mode. Um, I think for me, especially, is when I was noticing it. I got on the financial one because Sierra brought up a very fantastic point about financial survival mode, and it's something that not struggling, but I think I'm on the brink of, and that's why I wanted to point out the year transitions with my OnlyFans and how they were different. And there's the reason why it was different in my belief is because I spent a period of manifesting and like getting down to the core reasons of why I believe certain things. And um, like even like I said, growing up, I got a job at 16. Like I at 18, I didn't want to go to the corporate world. I went to sales, and I sold myself as a personal chef on Craigslist. So I've always known that I can bring in more money than what a corporate paycheck can give me. And I think that's helped break me out of this typical financial survival mode that a lot of people have. But that doesn't mean I don't go through financial survival tendencies, because I do fall back onto that because it is comfortable and it feels like square one. When I'm lost, where do I want to go? I know what square one looks like, so I want to go back to that. But do I stay in it long? No. So I think sometimes that can be a good thing, reverting back to your survival mode and stuff like that. But it's not meant to be a place of comfort to sit and stay. It's meant to be just like a little camp out spot until you redirect your path, you know? And for me, like, I'm slowly getting out of that financial survival mode, but the one mode I have to get out of is this emotional survival mode. And for me, the pregnancy definitely has helped transition my mindset, because I realized that, like, a lot of things with relationships, like, I think, especially because I'm so insecure, and I think, like, something is gonna happen. Like, something is always gonna happen. And I think that's because in my childhood, I didn't have any stability. The only stability that was created was through me. Like, I was the one who created the stability. And, like, if I wish I could go into depth, like, I could, but that's just, like, meant for the life story part. But I had to create this life that I wanted because my dad was passed out 90% of the time. And same with the ladies that he dated. So who's going to take care of the house? Like, me. So I got to create this lifestyle that I wanted, which was kind of fun in a sense. But should a 6, 7, 8-year-old have to do that? No. So now, hold on, I'm reading the chat. Oh my god, that makes my heart so sad, Sierra, because literally that's the same. Like, I didn't really have much of a childhood. The only time I had a childhood was when I was with my grandparents. And that's why I got really close to them, because that's the only time I was allowed to be a kid. And I didn't know what being a kid felt like, because like I said with my dad, like, I was the adult. Like, if he needed money, he went to me. If he wanted to drive somewhere and he couldn't because he was drunk, he went to me. Like, the responsibility always fell on me. When he was too drunk to do anything, the cooking was left up to me. I would always go around cleaning while he was drunk. Like, it was always left up to me. So I created like this little survival bubble for myself, and it worked for literally my whole childhood. And unfortunately, because I saw that as stable, and it was a very unstable situation, but because I had created stability, to me that was the normal for stability. And in several of my relationships after that, because I hadn't fully awakened up to the fact that I was living these cycles of survival and self sabotaging pretty much. But to be fair, the people I was with were not good people. So that's where I can say, like, the survival mode comes in hand. However, what was needed was me to realize that I am living the same lifestyle that my childhood was, because I saw this as normal, and in the background this was happening, so that created this. And I saw that as stable even though it wasn't stable. And if someone exhibited a pattern that was closely related to that, I was like, oh, I understand that. That is familiar to me, and I'm going to pursue that because I understand how that feels. Like it's not out of my comfort zone. Um, and it's like it's kind of like when you're a girl, I guess guys too, okay? Like survival mode can be in a sense compared to this. So when you're when you're growing up and you think you're ugly and stuff like that, um, you create this like little bubble for yourself and you think like, oh, I'm just not attractive, whatever. And then when you grow up and become attractive to people, you don't believe when they compliment you, and that's just that little bubble that you believed when you're younger because you just accepted the fact that no one's going to find you attractive because you got hurt through that or whatever, and you create this bubble. So now when people compliment you, this is speaking from experience too, um, you don't believe them because you have built this bubble that tells yourself that it's fine that you're ugly, like it's fine that you're this way, like I've accepted it, whatever, everybody hates me, but not everybody hates you kind of thing.